the topic today, I think, we're all very much faced with a very challenging time at the moment. I think throughout education, through industry, around the world, the COVID pandemic, without a doubt, has made this a very challenging time for everybody, and of course for some much more than others. When you look at it, there's a lot of information out there. I think a couple of points I'd like to reference, which are very prevalent to the topic that we are discussing today. You look at COVID-19 and the impact on education. So I think as of the 19th of June, there were more than 1.1 billion learners that were impacted from school closures and educational closures across 123 countries. And I think this is something that was unprecedented, and I think the education sector has taken dramatic steps to move everything digital and everything online, like this conference we're having today, for example. And I think that the speed at which that has happened has been relatively unprecedented, although without, of course, or knowing that there are still a number of challenges with that to get learning back on its feet. And the impact of that will be long lasting in terms of what people learn, what they need to learn, and where they need to go with their learning journeys. A second component is actually an input from McKinsey & Company, also an interesting outlook on when industry is going to get back on its feet. And if you look at the transportation and logistics sector, the expectation is it will get back onto its feet faster than some other industries. And across the board, there's a real impact across every different industry. And I think what that paints as a picture, which is very important in light of today's discussion, is the need for resilience in the different sectors and the different industry sectors that we're working with, and particularly with that, the need to be adaptive. So what you learn, what skills you have, existing skills you have, and how they can be relevant to other industries that may be getting back up to speed more quickly than others. And I think that when we're launching this event today, as Bob had mentioned earlier, so it's launched on the World Youth Skills Day, which is a UN initiative set up to continue the discussion around the development of education. And just to give you a little bit of insight into World Youth Skills Day, because I think it is a very, very good fit with what we're talking about today. It was founded in 2014 by the UN General Assembly that declared the 15th of July as World Youth Skills Day, to really celebrate the importance of equipping young people with the skills for employment, for decent work and entrepreneurship. Its intention is to bring together different stakeholders that play a part in this journey to employment. It really looks at government stakeholders, vocational and educational training providers, industry partners, and employers, and gives them a stage to discuss the challenges and opportunities that exist in the market for the development of education and skills, with the overarching intent of bringing people back to work. And for the World Skills Youth Day 2020, it's being celebrated under the theme, Skills for a Resilient Youth. And this is really what we're talking about today. If you look at the project that we are launching here, the next step for Seafarers, it's really focused with a mission to build an inclusive learning and career development platform for the seafarers of the Philippines, with the goal of building a digital community platform which gives a digital identity for seafarers that they can take with them on their career journeys, provide them guidance on career development and opportunities to upskill both in the maritime sector and in parallel industries that have a requirement for similar skill sets, and at the end of the day, connecting seafarers with those learning opportunities with the goal of connecting them to jobs. And with that, we have a wonderful range of partners, as mentioned by Bobbitt earlier, covering the entire spectrum from government sector support with the likes of TESDA, and all the way through to recruitment and HR solutions, through to industry partners, and training partners. And I think that with this, we're on a great step to launch this initiative and really build an all-inclusive platform and services that really support seafarers in their journey back to work. In continuation from the topic of upskilling, I would like to give you a little bit of an indication of what CertifID is, what we do, what we're intending to do, and importantly, looking at skill paths, which is a solution that we believe will support seafarers in differentiating themselves in the challenging labor market that lies ahead, and how through the partner network that we're developing, we're able to open new doors in different directions that may not have been in the forefront of your mind when thinking about career options. At Certif-ID, we are a dedicated skills community, and our goal is to bring transparency and trust to the overarching educational landscape. And that goes through the entire structure, from training and development of new courses, new learning, and new opportunities to get new skills, through to the individual and the credentials you have, both of skills that you've got through formal educational methods, but also recognition of prior learning, which I think is also a very important topic when it comes to the skills that you may have, but may not be certified or internationally recognized for. And then connecting that with the opportunity to enable recruiters and those in industry to make fast and informed decisions about who they want to hire and how they're able to match the credentials of those candidates or the competencies of those individuals with the jobs that are available in the market. And a big part of what we try and do is to bring industry into the picture much more. In the past, when you look at education, it's really been driven by curriculum that is often out of date or needs updating. And particularly in the last, I would say, 5 years, the rate of technological change has been so dramatic that a lot of institutes in the educational sector are really struggling to keep up with the knowledge and the curriculum that is required by industry. And this is one of the key things that we intend to do with Certif-ID, is connect the dots through that entire technical learning landscape. So at Certif-ID, again, we are building this trusted skilling ecosystem, and a little bit about how we are doing that before getting into skill paths. So what we are as Certif-ID is a dedicated technical skills ecosystem that's focused on regulated trades and skills. And I think for this, again, the maritime sector, looking into health and safety, looking into regulated and internationally sort of monitored skill sets, this is where we really want to focus as a platform to give visibility on those regulations and requirements. We are working very hard to harmonize educational levels. And one of the things that we are looking to do is to ensure that around the world, if you are a qualified person in a given discipline, that qualification is recognized and equivalent to that exact same competency, wherever that may be in the world. And again, when you're looking at markets like the Philippines, where there's such a huge part of the population that is working internationally on jobs around the world, whether it's in maritime or hospitality or healthcare or others, it's really important to get a qualification that is recognized internationally at the point of study. And I think that's what we're really working with the education sector to do that. And for that, again, we'll hear from UNESCO later, but we're also working quite closely with UNESCO, and we'll hear more about their world referencing levels standard approach in a discussion a bit later on today. For what we are doing, we are digitizing and optimizing sourcing, particularly for developed markets. So for example, we've worked last year particularly, I think this year obviously impact on travel, but last year we worked to send automotive technicians to Germany to work for major German automotive companies in the German market as technicians, for example. So for us, it's really about how do you ensure that the certificates are valid? How do you ensure that the recruitment process is as efficient as possible and give the individual that visibility of that career path? And as mentioned before, so we work extensively with blockchain technology. At the forefront, it's really about avoiding fraud. So ensuring that all certificates are authentic, that they are digitized, and they're able to be traceable and verified at any point in time, anywhere in the world as a first point. But then interacting and building on that is the entire supply chain of labor and manpower and all of the different contractual components that go throughout that cycle. So leading on to what this really means for us today, I mentioned before in my opening address, the mission statement of what we want to do with Next Step Seafarers. So it's really about building an inclusive learning and career development platform, really dedicated to the seafarers of the Philippines, and doing that, bringing the goals of community development, digitized identity and differentiation in the employment market, and providing that elements of career guidance and upskilling. And I think that one of the key things here that we want to bring forward is availability of information and transparency that is owned and available to an individual who to make informed decisions about what learning is important, what learning will benefit me, and what the development of my career can look like. And I wanted to start a little bit with some questions. And some of these are questions I've heard over the years. Some are much fresher, so linked to what CertifID is about. And I can fully understand a lot of these. I get more training, it costs me more money, but I haven't seen an increase in my salary. There's no career guidance. I'm just doing the same journey that my uncle did, my brother did, my friend did, and I've been guided on to do exactly that same journey. I've applied for a job and I'm, the 1,000th person to apply. What's my likelihood of winning that role? And I've done a long degree, but now there's no job at the end of it. These are questions that you hear very regularly. And I think that one of the key things that we're driving to do with CertifID and the partner network for this platform is to address those questions. And with that, that's where we have developed and are looking into answering those questions. So 3 key challenges or 3 key sort of initiatives that really drive a differentiated approach for the seafaring industry. Knowledge transfer is the first. So it's really important to ensure that there's a transfer of knowledge and decisions to the candidate. So it's not your educational institute that makes decisions for you. It's not your employer. It's you as an individual who should have that visibility and transparency to make informed decisions. As mentioned, it's incredibly important to have industry focus and understand what industry demand is. Where is industry moving? Where are there gaps in industry which need to be filled? Where is technology taking business and taking industry? And how does that impact the skills that you need and the upskilling requirements that you would need to support your career in the future? And with that, it's about empowering the candidate. So with all this information, it's about empowering the candidate to make informed decisions and enabling them to understand where it's important to learn and where it's important to take a next step in that career. And this is really where SkillPass comes along. So this is the unified solution for candidates with technical skills. This is what we have available today, and this is what we've offered for seafarers. Again, it's a free of cost solution to digitize your portfolio of credentials and skill sets and add to that as you go along in your career. So what we've enabled individuals to do is create a skill pass and then add their information, so their credentials, their educational certificates, their experiences, their interviews and video interviews of their career aspirations, for example, storing all this in a single source location, which then can be verified and checked by recruiters or by employment or by further educational institutions where there's an intention to move. And what SkillPass is about, and this is really where the community piece comes in, is sits at the center of an opportunity to gain new skills, to learn information, to optimize your positioning in the labor market or in the employment market. And we've done that by combining a network of different partners that add solutions to you as an individual with your SkillPass. And for this, you can see with the partners that have joined us for this Next Step Seafarers conference today, we have partners throughout the entire cycle of this diagram here. We have information and insights coming from all of our industry partners, through the chambers of commerce, through government sector. We have learning partners, we have recruiters and job portals, we have solution providers. You're able to build a network and you're able to, for example, connect with people who have gone through a learning journey and understand from them, was it successful? How was my career developed? And what are the next steps? And we're looking to really bring an entertainment and a gamified approach to ensuring that this is something that is interesting and adds value, and you can continue to learn and gain new skills as you develop. So In principle, this is what we've really built today. And this was the intention that we really looked at over the last weeks, is how do we sort of bring the opportunity for skill development in the seafarer sector and the maritime sector, and how do we use technology to change the dynamic of how people gain information and how they're able to make informed decisions. And this is really the process that we've set up to start with, and are looking for the platform that CertifID brings to enable partners to share, showcase, deliver, and optimize solutions for seafarers. Again, it's about creating that skill path profile, updating and recording interviews and adding information, then getting advice from our partner network and choosing courses from the partner network that will add value to your career, searching and applying for jobs through all of our network partners, directly through the maritime sector or through partners like Q2, for example, leading HR and recruitment companies in the Philippines and abroad as well. And then again, it's the ownership of that information that enables an individual to continue to upskill, to continue to add value to their proposition to the employment market and continue to grow. And a little bit of insight into what we are bringing to that picture. So when you're looking at career information and insights, it's really important to be able to explore career options. And the way that we've set up the platform, to give you an example, is in essence like an Airbnb style approach, where instead of saying, I want to go to visit this place, and do you want a restaurant, or do you want accommodation, or do you want an experience or a show, it will say, I'm interested in maritime engineering, for example. And the information that you then receive will be all companies that are operating in the area of maritime engineering, all jobs available in that space, all training courses related to that space, and learning opportunities that are available, and give you that visibility and transparent information through the partner network that gives you an indication of where I should be heading. In addition to that, we've built an industry news feed. So we've partnered with Twitter, for example, to give very specific curated information on your interests and career direction. So looking to see where you want to go, what's happening in the industry, what's the latest information that is relevant to you, and then combining that with artificial intelligence for career guidance and matching, and giving you that opportunity to have a skill requirement and technical fit, which gives you a much better positioning in terms of the development of your career. With that, we've built in a range of different solutions in a little bit more detail. So from a course perspective, again, we heard from SkillBeam, who have a range of different training providers that are working with them to deliver training solutions, and a range of different partners from TÜV Rheinland and independent third parties, all the way through the sector, where you're able to find your courses through that matching algorithm and matching engine to optimize your opportunity for learning. We've built the entire platform on the ESCO framework, which is the European Skills, Competencies and Occupations framework. And again, this is really important because it gives you an overarching guidance of the skills required for specific jobs. And very briefly on ESCO, so they have, I think, 13,000 skills defined within their structure. So that's built into CertifID. And for every job type, so for example, a data analyst or a data analyst, for example, it would give you a real indication of the skill requirements you need to be able to be qualified as a data analyst. And this is what's built into the matching algorithm of CertifID to ensure that you really get the skills you need to help you develop your career as you go. And as mentioned, we've built in a range of fun, interactive, engaging tools, from online CV builders through to video CVs where you're able to conduct interviews online, through to a range of different solutions linked to world skills and skills opportunities. From the network perspective, again, the whole platform is built on blockchain. So with that blockchain network, you're able to connect, exchange ideas, and connect with partners and fellow learners. You're able to search for alumni and able to really gain an understanding of the education that has benefited them in the development of their careers. And again, we have a range of solutions from internationally and local players who are able to bring solutions to you to support you in your learning journey. And all of that leads, of course, to jobs and recruitment. And the jobs and recruitment, so there's an integrated portal. So I think at the moment there are more than 500 jobs in the maritime sector that are published through partners on the CertifID platform that you're able to apply directly to with your skill pass as an individual. And all of that links to the validation and the differentiation that a digital portfolio, digital certificates, a digital verification of those credentials brings you a differentiated perspective when it comes to applying for jobs in the market. So in essence, these are all the different components. And what we're really aiming to do as CertifID is continue to bring partners into the network that are able to bring guidance, bring new opportunities, bring added direction, not only directly for the maritime sector, but as mentioned, in how you can diversify your existing skill set to also bring benefit or to look to transition into new areas where there may be more demand at different periods of time. And I think that's really the important key here, is that transparency of information to enable an individual to make informed decisions. So with that, I will end my presentation. Thank you very much.